The stores in Shanghai are empty. The economy of the city has been in decline for months now. Even on the first day of the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holiday, Shanghai is still an empty city. The streets of Shanghai are full of closed stores. Only a very lucky few are still open. Shanghai is one of the world's largest seaports and a major industrial and commercial center of China. Despite its reputation, many places in Shanghai still look like rural areas. Not only that, they are empty. The stores in Shanghai are empty. The economy of the city has been in decline for months now. Even on the first day of the Mid-Autumn Festival and National Day holiday, Shanghai is still an empty city. Shanghai, once a vibrant cosmopolitan metropolis and magnet for foreign companies, is experiencing a sharp exodus of expatriates and withdrawal of foreign investments. Statistics from the Shanghai municipal government show a precipitous drop in foreigners entering the city. From January to June 2023, only 756,200 foreigners entered Shanghai, a 75% decrease compared to the same period in 2019. The 7th National Census in 2020 recorded 163,954 foreigners living in Shanghai. Yet after 3 years of pandemic restrictions and a deteriorating business environment, their numbers have dwindled to a fraction of this count. This mass departure of foreigners is glaringly evident across Shanghai's expatriate enclaves. Along with the expatriate exodus, Shanghai is witnessing a continuous retreat of foreign companies that once drove its prosperity. Carrefour, the French retail pioneer that opened China's first hypermarket in 1995, is withdrawing all of its 30 stores from Shanghai by 2024. From its peak presence of 230 stores in China, Carrefour has shut down two-thirds amid years of losses. Its rise and impending fall is seen as symbolizing the changing fortunes of foreign brands in China. Many foreign companies like SAIC Volkswagen are shut down and moved out of Shanghai. The RT Mart Shanghai Minhang store is closed. On the last day of business, most of the goods were cleared. Like Carrefour, numerous other major foreign companies across sectors have downsized or exited China in recent years. Shanghai's reputation as the most foreign business-friendly city in China no longer retains the lure it once held. Challenging political and operating conditions, COVID disruptions, and dampening growth prospects have combined to trigger a foreign corporate exodus. The streets of Shanghai are full of closed stores. Only a very lucky few are still open. The departure of expatriates and foreign businesses will deal a body blow to Shanghai's cosmopolitan, outward-looking culture and aspiration to be Asia's economic and financial capital. Its transformation from magnet to repellent for foreign investments underscores the pressures facing China's weakening economy and fraught ties with the Western world. With the foreign community that powered Shanghai's rise now beating a hasty retreat, the city faces a deeply uncertain future. Financial crisis hits CCP as Shanghai orders halt on incomplete infrastructure projects. The CCP's finances are in deep crisis. It is reported that Beijing has ordered the country to halt infrastructure projects that are less than half completed. Later, it was reported that the Golden Central Development Belt project, a key project in Shanghai, had been urgently suspended. This church hasn't been finished for a long time. Considering China's violation of freedom of religion, it makes sense. The unfinished building in Shanghai has been abandoned for more than 10 years. On January 21st, a supplementary notice on sorting out related situations of new construction projects in the Golden Central Development Belt in 2024 was uploaded on Weibo, with the word urgent in the title. The notice was issued on December 29th last year. For those who don't know, Golden Central Development Belt is a key construction project launched in July 2020 in Pudong New area of Shanghai. Located in the 28.7 km central Pudong section of Pudong New area, a large number of major construction and major projects will be successively implemented, which will become the highlight of the development of Pudong area in Shanghai during the 14th five-year plan period. The goal is to combine the new construction projects in the Golden Central Development Belt in 2024 in accordance with the spirit of the instructions of the main leaders of the city and district. commercial housing, commercial, office, research and development, and industrial projects of a public welfare nature are suspended. According to the official media of the Communist Party of China, the Golden Middle Ring Development Belt is an important strategic carrier and major landmark project in Pudong, with a total planned investment of approximately 624 billion yuan, a developable space of 10 square kilometers, and a planned unbuilt industrial space of approximately 3.6 billion yuan. The planned unbuilt residential space is about 4.7 square kilometers, and the planned unbuilt commercial space is about 2 square kilometers. But many development projects in Shanghai have been stopped, and projects approved last year or before have also been stopped because no one will buy the houses after they are built, and neither residential buildings nor office buildings can be rented out. A post circulating on the internet shows that the vacancy rate in some areas such as Shanghai Hongkou, Sichuan North Road, Pudong Lujiazui, Qiantan, Huamu, and other areas exceeds 40%. Qin Jining, secretary of the Shanghai Municipal Committee of the Communist Party of China, has set the tone that the city will no longer approve commercial projects such as new shopping malls and office buildings. That explains why this shopping mall hasn't been done. Independent commentator Kai Shinkuan posted on the overseas social platform administrative operations are simply unable to cope with the so-called 20 billion large-scale project. Moreover, the myth of rising housing prices that has lasted for decades has become a thing of the past. People's expectations for the future have been greatly reduced. There will no longer be impulsive home buying groups, and housing sales will no longer be the same. As hot as it has been in the past, investing in real estate, whether residential or office buildings, has become increasingly risky. China's local governments are heavily in debt, and it is said that the total debt may exceed 100 billion yuan. Beijing authorities had issued notices to local governments, requiring them to postpone or stop some state-funded infrastructure construction projects to control debt risks. China's State Council has issued directives to local governments and state-owned banks in recent weeks, requiring 12 provinces and cities to postpone or halt construction projects that are less than halfway through. Shanghai in crisis, exodus, economic decline, and domestic worker struggle. Shanghai has long been heralded as a bustling metropolis teeming with expatriates and business opportunities, a beacon of China's economic prowess. However, recent shifts have seen this dynamic city grappling with a new reality, one of exodus and economic downturns, leaving a distinct mark on its employment landscape, particularly in the domestic work sector. As foreign enterprises withdraw and expatriates depart, Shanghai's domestic workers, who once prided themselves on their niche catering to international households, now face a world of change. The exodus of foreigners from Shanghai has not only symbolized a loss of cultural diversity but has set off a domino effect, signaling the end of the good days for domestic helpers who previously provided their services to expatriate families. Hey guys, is it true that the entire Shanghai is going through layoffs? I was at work just fine yesterday, Then in the afternoon, they called me back to the office. Guess what happened? I got pulled into a meeting, and they said the company has been going through tough times lately. You catch my drift, right? They were pretty straightforward about it, and well, I lost my job. I don't get it. Everything was going fine. I was even thinking of sticking around until after the Chinese New Year. The impact is significant and twofold. Reduced demand leads to increased competition for the now scarcer jobs, and those who adapt to the changing market by serving Chinese families often do so with diminished compensation and harsher working conditions. Gone are the days of the 13th salary month and those extended vacation periods. Now, these same workers find themselves engaged for 6 days a week instead of 5, and with no holiday benefits that once made the demanding work much more palatable. To illustrate the scope of this downturn, consider that Shanghai's population of foreign workers dropped from 80,000 in 2020 to 70,000 a year later. This decreasing trend in Shanghai's foreign population directly translates to fewer employment opportunities for domestic workers who specialize in serving these expatriate households. Moreover, the city has seen its total population fall for the third time since 2015, with a notable exodus of 257,000 migrant workers in the last year alone. This shift in employment terms presents both economic and social pressures on domestic workers, many of whom relied on the favorable conditions previously afforded to them. With a reduction in the overall benefits and the number of days off, domestic employees are compelled to recalibrate their work-life balance, often tipping the scales unfavorably towards extended working hours for less pay. Engaging with the exodus aftermath, these workers, predominantly women, grapple with navigating an inflated workload and diminished job security while living in a city known for its high cost of living. The narrative epitomizes a broader reflection of the challenges facing Shanghai's labor market against the backdrop of an ebbing economy and evolving demographic trends. In conclusion, what unfolds in Shanghai speaks volumes about the interconnected nature of globalization and local economies. The outflow of an international community has ramifications far beyond the boardrooms and business sectors. It permeates the daily lives of individuals in the most intimate settings of their employment. As Shanghai, and indeed China, continues to face dramatic economic restructuring, the fates of these workers remain a potent reminder of the human element entwined in the fabric of a transforming city. Adding to the dramatic picture, China is witnessing the world's largest exodus of millionaires, with a net loss of 10,800 high-net-worth individuals having migrated out in 2022, and an expected departure of another 13,500 this year. This outflow reflects a broader trend of wealth and expertise pulling out of the region, shaking the economy to its core and compounding the effects on every stratum of the workforce, from top-tier professionals to the hard-working domestic staff. The mass exodus of foreigners and companies from Shanghai marks a dire turning point for what was once China's most cosmopolitan and economically vibrant city. The resulting void serves as a stark reminder of Shanghai's rapid descent from Asia's financial hub and a beacon for international business. Instead of being a symbol of outward-looking dynamism, the city now grapples with deserted streets and abandoned expatriate enclaves, underscoring its dwindling stature and growing isolation in China. The once bustling metropolis, a pioneer in the country's reform and opening up, now faces an existential identity crisis. The intertwined fate of Shanghai and China mirrors a broader economic slowdown and a bleak investment landscape. Years of pandemic disruptions, escalating geopolitical tensions, and policy blunders have triggered a mass exodus of capital and an alarming retreat of corporations. Shanghai's skyline is marred by empty skyscrapers, stalled mega-projects, and a labor force struggling for survival, reflecting the toll on both human lives and shattered infrastructure dreams. As the engines that once fueled Shanghai's prosperity now sputter, the city is left to look inward in a desperate attempt to revive its fortunes. However, cut off from the world and devoid of its former cosmopolitan vibrancy, the prospects of Shanghai reclaiming its status as the Pearl of the Orient and the vanguard of China's future appear increasingly doubtful. If the current downward trajectory persists, Shanghai may descend into a somber monument of the country's wasted potential, a glittering shell hauntingly void of its former glory.